numbers are not radically different. But the key thing is that both men, for a long time, have not faced left-handers. Crawford is facing a left-hander in Errol Spence, and Crawford, while he's a switch hitter, is gonna fight most of his fight probably as a lefty. So stylistically, they're both gonna face something different.
And the rules for the main event: only the referee can stop the contest. The fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. The fight becomes official after 4 complete rounds. From T-Mobile Arena, it's T-minus now. Spence versus Crawford. Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, Premier Boxing Champions presents the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Man Down Promotions, TGC Promotions, TGB Promotions, and Showtime Pay-Per-View. Sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. Action so great, why bet on boxing anywhere else? And O'Reilly Auto Parts, the ultimate one-stop shop for all of your automotive supplies, everything for your vehicle in one convenient place. That's O'Reilly Auto Parts. And The Last Voyage of the Demeter. The Legend of Dracula is born. The Last Voyage of the Demeter, only in theaters August 11th. And Strays, the new R-rated comedy. Strays is in theaters August 18th. This bout, Undisputed World Championship, is sanctioned by the WBC. President and Supervisor Mauricio Sulaiman. The WBA President Gilberto Jesus Mendoza. Supervisor Julio Time. The WBO President and Supervisor Francisco Valcarcel. And the IBF President and Supervisor Darrell Peoples. Along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the chairman is Anthony Marnell, the third executive director, Jeff Mullen. Introducing our 3 judges scoring the action from ringside. From Nevada, Tim Cheatham. From Oklahoma, David Sutherland. And from New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld. Introducing our third man to the ring, the referee in charge will be giving instructions after the introductions, Harvey Duck. All right, fans, here we go with the historic main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing in a battle of undefeated world champions and superstars of the sport for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, it's showtime! Introducing to you first, the WBO World Champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with gray and white trim, proudly representing his home of Omaha, Nebraska. He weighed in at 146 3/4 pounds. The 3-division world champion is undefeated in his sensational career with a record of 39 wins, no losses, 30 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the acclaimed pound-for-pound great, tonight making his Showtime debut and his 18th consecutive world title appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBO lightweight world champion, the former undisputed super lightweight world champion, and the current undefeated WBO welterweight champion of the world, introducing Terence Crawford. And his opponent across the ring, the IBF, WBA, and WBC world champion, fighting under the blue corner, wearing black trunks with white and red trim, hailing from Dallas, Texas. He weighed in at the welterweight limit of 147 pounds. He is undefeated in his tremendous generational star of boxing and the commanding pound-for-pound great, tonight in his 8th consecutive world title appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the renowned, current, undefeated, reigning and defending, unified WBC, WBA, and IBF welterweight champion of the world, introducing the Truth, Errol Spence Jr. And once again, a referee in charge, Harvey Doc, down to give instructions.
All right, boxers, you received your instructions earlier. As a reminder, obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch him up. Good luck.
Harvey Doc assigned this mega main event. 19 years pro experience, his 336th professional bout. In the ring, Errol Spence is a merciless interrogator, extracting confessions with his unyielding punches, incredible pressure, and vicious body punching. For Terence Crawford, a master of his craft, his style, a blend of artistry and brutality, with his mesmerizing switch-hitting style, razor-sharp reflexes, counters, and a childlike joy when it comes to hurting his opponents. The bell and round one. And immediately Crawford starts as a southpaw against the southpaw Spence. Spence has faced only 2 southpaws in his pro career, a win over Emmanuel Lardy in October of 2013, and an 8th round knockout of Chris Van Heerden in September of 2015. And in his 5 most recent fights, Crawford has fought 77% southpaw.
And just as expected, we're seeing the pressure from Spence, calculated pressure, and Crawford, I mean, I thought he was going to start boxing, but he's doing a fine job right now of trying to figure out what Spence is going to do, and more than anything, try to counterpunch.
Spence builds everything behind that jab, one of the most fundamentally sound fighters in the sport, and Terence Crawford, well, he's just one of a kind in terms of what he's been able to accomplish in his career and the way that he has done it. These two are capable of fighting any style, any range, any way, Al, but Terence Crawford, the ability to make the adjustments on the fly without even thinking, just having the instincts to do the right thing, incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when you talk about there's Spence going downstairs to the body, Spence normally throws a lot more punches than Crawford. He averages 69 per round to 47.8 for Crawford. So we're going to see how that goes. And the other key thing here is early rounds, you would have expected maybe Spence to do better in this fight because Crawford tends to give away some early rounds. We'll see.
Spence used to fast start, high output. Crawford, yes, likes to collect that information in the first couple of rounds, but against Spence, Abner.
Yeah, way more pressure from Spence, aggressiveness. I mean, we're seeing that jab. At moments, you know, we see the counterpunching from Crawford, but it's the Spence jab that's doing the effect right now, or is having the effect.
And thus far, though, in his career, even here at 147, and again, against Spence, he is facing, as we mentioned, one of the biggest physically imposing welterweight champions ever, but Crawford can turn a fight with one punch. But here's the pressure. Spence cornering Crawford. The jab, the shot to the body. There's a counter left from Crawford. Crawford, an expert counterpuncher.
We talked about the counterpunching that Crawford was going to try to do, especially with Spence if he tries to overreach, and he did there, and Crawford was able to counterpunch.
Well, for Errol Spence, he would like to move his head as he comes forward to not get countered. He did do some body work in round 1. He wants to get down there. He averages 7.5 landed per round. He has a fantastic right hook. It may be his best power punch. He wants to get that punch in when he can. has for Terence Crawford. Wants to control the range and keep Spence away from him. And countering effectively is vital. That's how he generates his power and what has created all these knockouts 10 in a row for him. The straight left hand is one of those counter punches that he does very, very well.
Crawford engaged in his 18th consecutive fight involving a championship. His last non-title bout against Andre Klimov way back in 2013. He's already been a former Ring Magazine champion at lightweight and junior welterweight, looking to win the vacant Ring welterweight title and become the only man to be a two-division undisputed champion. There was a combination from Spence, and he throws more combinations except for Roman Gonzalez in the sport. He's very active when it comes to throwing combinations, Errol Spence, much more so than Crawford.
17 combination punches per round, according to show stats for Spence. Spence normally averages 34 jabs a round. He threw a few more than that in round number 1.
Yeah, letting his hands really good go, Spence, on the jab again. Starting off, you got to win that battle of the jab, and Spence is doing it good against Crawford, waiting too long. We talked about him being a slow starter. Second round, let's see if he lets his hands go a lot more.
Double jab, good combination. There's that hand speed and the combinations of Terence Crawford.
A really good hand movement from Spence at that distance. He was able to take a lot from those shots from Crawford.
Overhand left curl behind the guard of Crawford, and then Spence splits the guard of Crawford with a stiff jab, and again connects with the left hand curling behind the guard.
The Spence jab is working overtime, and that's been helping him along with the movement. You have both those things we talked about after round 1.
And he's got that kind of pressure that just builds momentum as the fight goes on. He starts fast, ends fast, and that pressure is everything.
I mean, there's fundamentals. Speaking of Spence, I mean, just brilliant. I mean, doesn't do too much, but just enough, which is jab, and left. Enough the precise pressure. It's right there.
The epitome of a textbook fighter. Errol Spence, there's a jab from Crawford that lands.
Crawford tried a really nice counter right hand a moment ago. He's going to find his rhythm when he can throw those counter punches.
And Crawford with the left hand. So things picking up here in round 2, 30 seconds left in the second stanza. Left hand to the body by Spence. Sharp jab, fast, explosive jab to the head and the body. And there's a combination that drops Errol Spence for the first time in his career. Lefty hand speed. Terence Bud Crawford, an electrifying combination. Drops Errol Spence in round 2 with a hard combination.
And on no one's bingo card did they have a second round knockdown with a jab from Terence Crawford. That was fascinating.
That was great how Spence started this third round. It was a beautiful overhand left and landed on
There's another
Crawford.
one, and now Spence going to the body. But Crawford fighting back. Both of these guys are dogs in that ring. Crawford fighting off the ropes, a jab splitting the guard. There's a jab from Crawford. So Spence looking to get back into this fight after hitting the deck. Right the card deal. Another Eminem reference for Terence Crawford in the second round.
Yeah, that definitely woke him up. He's a lot more aggressive, throwing a lot more, getting inside. But Crawford, again, be careful. He's a precise puncher.
Midway point of the third, step jab to the body by Spence. Quick combination upstairs by Crawford. Spence again bothered by the offense of Crawford.
careless because he don't come. Take a deep breath.
Crawford trained by former pro heavyweight Brian McIntyre. Spence trained by former pro middleweight and light heavyweight Darren James. Floyd Money Mayweather in attendance. He and Manny Pacquiao had a mega fight back in 2015. Both in attendance here tonight.
Two superb trainers applying their craft, both with excellent advice to their warriors.
This round and the fourth round, usually Crawford steps it up a little bit more, and we got a little bit of sense of that. He started off really good with the jab. Double, triple jab and body work.
Crawford going to the body. And that difference in hand speed on display, the accuracy, the explosiveness, the body movement, but Spence trying to come forward, trying to lean in on Crawford.
Crawford's counterpunching has been superb in this fight, and he's picked his spots, and when he's done it, it's been great.
Yeah, no doubt the pressure there is from Spence, but the accuracy and the footwork from Crawford, the openings.
The left hand and the left uppercut by Crawford. He's able to just find those openings and land punches creatively.
And the advice given to Spence,
Oh my goodness, the left hand that rattled Spence. Crawford going to the body, and Terence Crawford having his way with Errol Spence Jr. The jab, the left hand, coming up on a minute and a half left in the fourth. And Errol Spence's face already showing, already telling the story. Double jab, left hand by Spence, but he gets jolted with the jab from Crawford. Even the jab is a power.
The jab is a
Uppercut by
powerful punch
Spence.
from Crawford. Every punch that he's throwing and he's landing is definitely hurting Errol Spence.
and the advice given to Spence, he's not turning, he's not moving off the center line to turn Crawford. That's what that's what they want him to do.
Terence Crawford, as competitive as it gets, a palpable chip on his shoulder. He'll find critics, but none exist just to get that edge, and he is really a junkyard dog. At the end of the day, this is a guy who, when he has his opponents hurt, has perhaps the best killer instinct in the sport. And he continues to jolt Errol Spence with the jab, left uppercut to the body.
He's feeling really comfortable right now, Crawford.
Well, Abner hit on it. This is the part of the fight where Crawford usually starts his assault, but most people thought Spence might still be doing good work at this point, but right now he's taking it on the chin.
Coming up on the conclusion of the first third of this championship fight, already a bravura performance from Terence Bud Crawford, who has already knocked down Errol Spence. Amazing start for Crawford.
An excellent round for Crawford, using the jab so effectively and getting to Spence when Spence gets on the inside, using a variety of punches, including the uppercut. See Spence trying to get downstairs to the body of Crawford, but not able to. Later in the round, a lead left hand that lands perfectly. And I think it's kind of surprising to see Crawford, even when he's not countering, being able to initiate the offense and land like that.
be an evenly contested battle. Terence Crawford this is eye-opening out.
It really is. I mean, it's astonishing that he's been able to be this effective this early in the fight and on every level, both countering and initiating offense.
The 35-year-old Terence Bud Crawford from Omaha, Nebraska, that calls himself the professional franchise from that city.
And for Spence, it now comes down to he's got to land something that makes a difference in this fight. A power punch that will set Crawford back. Can he do that?
He looks stunned.
Yeah, he's got to land a big shot or pressure enough to get Crawford off that rim.
And the counter right hook and the right hand from Crawford. Every time Spence walks in, he's met with highly effective counters.
Now, Terence Crawford's a really good counter puncher. This is on another level tonight.
Yeah. I mean, the angles, if you notice that he's using, every time Spence steps in, there's Crawford taking the side step. Created a beautiful angle for the uppercut.
Crawford attempting to become the first male fighter in the four-belt era to become an undisputed champion in a second weight class. Clarissa Shields has achieved that feat on the female side, and with just over a minute left in the fifth, it is all Terence Bud Crawford. While he's punching less, he's landing a lot more.
Terence Crawford is landing 58% of his power punches, which is everything other than the jab. That's a ridiculous percentage.
Against a fellow pound-for-pound stalwart, no less. And here comes Spence. Couple of right hand stab jab.
Yeah, that eye's not looking good on Spence right now.
Spence trying to dig deep, digging to the body. You're right, Abner. And you know all about that, do you not, sir?
Yes, I've had two detached retinas, so he's got to be careful.
Oh, there's a left hand that lands on Crawford, but he eats it and continues the jab by Spence.
That was the kind of punch Spence was hoping for. It just didn't have the kind of impact he was hoping it would have.
Terence Crawford is a freak athlete, a former wrestler. This guy is built from the feet up with his physical strength, and we've already seen that he can generate a lot of power. Again, the counter and the lands, and Errol Spence now backing up, and we don't normally see Errol Spence backing up.
No, that is the Crawford pressure right now that he's putting.
And Crawford is putting the punches on the face of Errol Spence. Wow. Here in round 6. Crawford avoiding the front of the body close.
And the reason...
And he's so composed.
Yes.
He's so...
Again, the reason why Crawford's jab is so effective and so hard is because he's a natural right-hander. So that jab, I mean, he's got a lot of power.
You bring up a good point. He actually messed up his right hand when he was fighting in school, and he started practicing more on his left, and he says his left became stronger than his right, and hey, he's deadly either way he goes.
You know, people may say, gosh, why is Spence concentrating so much on the body in this round? I don't think that's a terrible idea on his part, because it's what he does really well, and it could help get him back into this fight a little bit, and he's landed some good body punches.
Right hook from Spence.
Yeah, he's got to get inside. He can't reach.
Oh, my goodness, that jab is so punishing. He almost dropped him again with that jab.
Again, the right distance right there that Crawford has.
You know, also had a power jab from Southpaw. He's in attendance tonight, that being Manny Pacquiao, and referee talking to Spence, but that jab is incredibly punishing from Crawford.
You know who we talked about that was Sean Porter. He said that when you thought you had the right space for Crawford, he would take it away, and it seems like he's doing that against Spence right now.
Right, one of the two common opponents, Sean Porter, who's always making life miserable for his opponents coming forward. He said he never felt that he once made Terence Crawford feel uncomfortable. I think Errol Spence is beginning to feel the same way. Spence trying, coming back, going to the body, but then gets clipped with a left.
And you feel Spence almost want to hold on the inside, and that's not the best sign for him because that's the place he has to really work. See it? There it is there.
Double jab, dictating the pace of this fight for Terence "Bud" Crawford. And we have already reached the midpoint of this championship fight. It is all Terence "Bud" Crawford looking to make history. Left uppercut on the inside that caught Spence on the jaw.
Now here's where Spence was working downstairs, trying to get to the body, trying desperately to make something offensive happen, and even landing a nice right hook. But the counter punch from Crawford was so effective. And here's where Terence Crawford showed us in that last round, initiating the offense with that shotgun jab. And Morrow made the point, that jab almost put Spence down. And then later on in the round, Crawford will counter as Spence moves forward, then lands the straight left hand. Spence is not moving laterally to his right or his left. He's staying right in the line of fire.
Make sure you got room on the inside for punch, okay? Let's
We begin the second half of this championship affair, barring a draw, no decision. We will crown the first undisputed welterweight champion of the four-belt era. Spence now trying to come forward, trying to deliver combinations, and Crawford avoiding them. Beautiful counter left hands, and there's a right hook to the face of Spence by Crawford, and Crawford's accuracy just backing up Spence with these punishing shots.
It is exactly that. The accuracy, the reflexes from Crawford. I mean, counter punching.
And you know what else? Terence Crawford's keeping his right glove up so well to block those straight lefts from
Spence continues to go to the body. Under 30 seconds left in the seventh. Spence usually the one who's putting on the pressure, the one moving forward behind a steady jab and body work. He has been stopped in his tracks repeatedly by Terence "Bud" Crawford.
Spence has thrown 234 jabs, but only landed 28, so it has not been a weapon for him.
Body shots of Crawford. Oh, the right hook! Spence goes down for the third time!
Possibly imagine. Crawford's knockdowns are almost equally divided, but the right is usually the one that lands the most. And that counter right uppercut was perfect. But it wasn't the last good moment that he would have in that round. Here
It's just phenomenal. I mean, that right hook that he's got has been venom for Spence.
Round number 8 through 7. One of the most stupendous performances I have seen in a boxing ring in a long, long time. When you consider all the stakes, the significance, the accomplishments of both fighters, both coming in undefeated champions, both dominating their opposition. Terence "Bud" Crawford thus far proving to be on a whole nother level.
Yeah, so far one-sided fight for Crawford. I mean, keep saying the footwork, the accuracy, the jab, the speed from Crawford right now is just too much from Spence.
And now Spence is in a posture, boxing, moving back. That's not what he does. So it's very difficult for him now if he can't come forward to apply pressure and hope for one big shot.
Now he's in a position where he's going to perhaps even get hurt a lot more because Crawford has him in a position where he is going to land the big shots.
Crawford just so composed, even that, putting it the way he, look at that, even so creative, so amazing in every single way, the ability to deliver punch after punch that lands. All of these shots are landing.
And even showing the creativity there to go downstairs as well.
He has landed 58% of his power shots in this fight.
Yeah, he's taking his time right now. Normally Crawford goes for the kill. He senses that someone's hurt, but right now he's taking his time. He knows that Spence is still dangerous. I mean, he's a world champion, for God's sakes.
A unified welterweight champion. Owns 3 of the 4 belts. Crawford has the 4th. That jab continues to pop. Spence's head back to right hook. Has him in trouble again.
And Crawford himself landing. Oh my.
Another counter right hand. And another right hook that lands at will.
Crawford is landing 38% of his jabs. I mean, and they're power jabs. They're not just jabs.
And there's a right hand left by Spence. But he continues to get backed up. He continues to get stopped by the jab after.
Yeah, output jabber by Crawford.
And those punches caught by Crawford on his arms, his gloves. We are through 8 here in Las Vegas. All Terence but five.
Well, Spence in a posture he's not used to, backing up against the ropes, trying to move and stay away from a fighter that is attacking him. And you get the feeling that Spence is always on the verge at this moment of going down again from one of the power shots that Crawford hits him with.
Over the shoulder. Don't see it from what you're going to come. Make him react to you. Ricky thing. Stay focused. One at a time on the inside. That's how you get to the inside. Don't relax. Step behind him with the jab.
Derek James trying to do anything he can to give him some specific advice that will turn things even for a moment in this fight.
This is round number 9. Spence lunging forward with that left. And backing up again. The pressure being put on by Crawford. Mentally, physically.
Yeah, mentally right now he definitely has to be in his A game. Speaking of Spence, he's got to make sense of this fight right now. He's been hurt. He's in a bad position right now. He's got to figure out, how am I going to get back into this fight? I'll mention it. A big shot, I think, is the only way.
And the intriguing thing is Crawford, who loves to counterpunch so well, has spent the last several rounds appropriately moving forward and initiating the offense.
According to our unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood, a huge 7th round for Terence Crawford. The 2 knockdowns, also the 1 knockdown in the second. Farhood gave Spence the first round, but it's been all Crawford ever since.
And this is why no welterweight that has faced Terence Crawford has ended up going the distance.
Well, in fact, his last 10 opponents have not gone the distance, and you're right about that. He's carried his weight with them. He has the 2nd longest knockout streak in the sport behind Artur Beterbiev.
Yeah.
Oh, he's opening up something right now, Crawford. Beautiful jab to the body.
That jab continues to be a nightmare for Errol Spence. And again, I mean, the way Spence reacts to being hit by the jab is incredible.
This fight is very
it's not just the jab, the uppercut.